I got my dog here, so sorry if she, pops up and you're like, what is that? That's my dog. Willow episode 7. And, yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. And I think what I enjoyed about it is I do have issues with the dialogue in this show still. But it's just fun to see, us finally get to the end of the quest. Because I'm just, in a way, I'm not really enjoying this show. I really see this show getting canceled after this season. This feels very much like a Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, where a big studio is looking for old properties they can dig up, and they go and find something from the 80s that's obscure, not like obscure to where you can't find it or it doesn't have a fan base, but obscure in the sense that majority of people don't watch it or don't know what it is. So when they dig it back up and they don't put a lot of effort into marketing it and putting it out there, it fails. This one they definitely put more effort into it, but yeah, and also I think, to be honest, the show is not great. It's okay. I'm having fun. What I really liked about this episode, it was a beautiful looking episode. The mix of practical real effects was really cool in the show. Especially, but really in this episode was really good. And a lot of the character development was interesting. I get really annoyed with Prince Eric and this one girl in this episode. Their dialogue is horrible, just abhorrent garbage. I think, it's really funny because the only people I hear talking about this show are the anti-woke crowd who just complain about everything. But in a lot of ways, this is the one show where I'm like, man, you might have a freaking point. Because, I don't think this show is garbage for what it's trying to say with politically or whatever. I don't even think it's trying to say that much politically, but at the same time, it feels like a lot of the dialogue here is feminist writing. And not that there's anything wrong with being a feminist, but it just feels like at several points in the show, the female characters are literally lecturing the men. Or they're literally, attacking men at several points. It just felt very weird. I don't think that it's a horrible show. I just think at several points that just dialogue, and it's really just a lot of the issues are just with the show. I hate calling it, giving them even the benefit of the doubt, but it's this show, it feels like several points in the show. That's the writing. It's just not great writing, great dialogue, all that. And that's really the thing about those people that you see complain about everything. You need to just stop listening to them, because when they say something's woke, sorry to go off on this tangent, but it's usually not, woke is such a stupid word, okay? If something's woke, it's not really, it's usually not, or just, best way to describe it is if you can't, you don't say an apple's bad. You say, you could just say an apple's bad, but, when you're a critic, or you're someone who talks about things, on why things don't work, you're not just going to say, oh, it's bad. You're going to describe why it's bad, why it doesn't work. And these people don't necessarily do that. They just throw one word around, and that word is a propaganda word made to scare you. It shouldn't scare you, because again, at the end of the day, this show is not good at its dialogue, but it's not a horrible show. It's sure there's a little bit of kind of feministic writing, which is not necessarily a problem if it was done well. If it was done well, I wouldn't be talking about it or complaining about it, but I feel like because it isn't done well, it's just very awkward, and I'm just not a big fan of it. I don't know. Next episode looks pretty fun, though, and I'm excited for the season finale, and kind of to see if the show gets a season 2. If it gets a season 2, I will be back here reviewing it and talking about it. If it doesn't, I can't really say I'm surprised. I have a feeling, though, that this season will not end on a major cliffhanger. So, if it doesn't end on a major cliffhanger, I will be okay. Because I'm just I don't really need more of this show. I think a lot of people aren't into this show. It's not very it's disappointing for what kind of show it could have been. Like, at least Dark Crystal Age of Resistance was like 10 out of 10. Sure, it's sad that that show got canceled. You see why it got canceled, though. But it is a 10 out of 10 show that made you want more. This, I don't really know if I want more. Because it's just mediocre.